welcome to another season of Let's Get Real with Haja. Who would have thought I would have made it to season 2? But here we are, and I just can't wait to share this exciting journey with you all. Season 1 was a whirlwind of emotions filled with laughter, some tearjerkers, and all around good old fun. Season 2 digs deeper into the diaspora, and it's just get real. I can't wait to share this exciting journey with you all, so stay tuned. You definitely don't want to miss this. To get real with Haja, email lgrhaja@gmail.com. No story is too small to make a difference. Hello and welcome to Let's Get Real. My name is Haja and I'm the founder of Let's Get Real. Let's Get Real is a talk show that's geared towards providing viewers with insightful conversations through life experiences. Today's topic is about interracial marriages, and my special guest is going to be taking us down the road as to how she found her Mr. Handsome, who happens to be someone that's out of her race. Please, let's welcome Yema Thomas. Yema, how did you meet Oscar, and when did you know he was the one?
Well, you really don't know he's the one until they attack you. At this point, being an African, attack is like run.
Of course. I like that word. I like attacking, right? Because they hunt you.
Yes, and they want me predators. They say predators.
Right.
Anyway, back to my Mexican husband.
Yeah.
So that's a different type of run.
Yeah, is it different from the African run?
Don't come from you. I beg you. Don't come with you.
So this run is African versus Mexican. Let's see.
Well, make a good comfortable, yeah. So the question was, how did I meet him? How I knew I was in love. Mm-hmm. And so I was in the lobby and I was checking out to go catch the next flight the next day. Mm-hmm. So, I was dwelling in my own little mood and I had a good time. I was working out, paying nobody any kind of mind, just kind of like doing the everyday. I hate life because you kind of just broke up with somebody. You just want to kind of move on and just go back to your daily life. And whoever's next is great, whatever. If not, good. Right. Just focus on yourself because that's the meaning of life. Exactly. Okay. And so I'm in the lobby. They're like, hey, Miss Thomas. I'm like, oh my God, they already know me. Like, okay. Hi. It's like, oh, you already checking out? And in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm checking out. When? Tomorrow? I'm like, yes. So I checked out, and as I was leaving, I'm already sweating because I'm like running. I was doing bodybuilding 12 years ago.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I am trying to catch up.
Personality is what I like about her.
Thank you, Haja. Thank you. So as I was leaving, I heard his voice go, excuse me. I was kind of like, oh, who now? Because every time you hear a man's voice, it's kind of like they want one thing. But then I was just like, what? Right? I'm dark skinned. I'm bald. There's all these beautiful women out here, with the long hair, looking luscious. Yeah. But why me? Right? So just his voice kind of helped me. I'm like, come back. Don't lose yourself. Right. It's okay to be loved again. Like my dad always tells me, it's okay to love again. Don't be afraid to be loved. Right. So I looked at him, he looked at me, he was like, I think you're beautiful. I'm like, thank you. So in my head, I was just like, it's Miami. I'm going back downstairs in the bath, right? I'm not gonna let him know that I noticed that he, noticed me. Right. I just said thank you and went upstairs. The next morning, around 8 o'clock, please don't judge me. Mm-hmm. I went to the bar, excuse me, mom and dad, to get like some kind of drink to make it strong. It was around 8 o'clock, right before my run. Right. So I went there and I'm getting the drink, and the bartender goes, "Hey, it's you again." I'm thinking to myself, me again? I'm like, what? He was like, yeah. This our coworker Oscar, we love him so much. He talked all day about you. I'm like, what?
Without even knowing you.
Well, meanwhile, I knew it was him. He was talking about. I was trying to play like, who's that? Like, because I was just feeling like, the it. So I'm like, okay, who's that? Playing it off, as Americans say, playing it. So So I'm sitting in the bar and I hear this voice. Hey, you came back. And I turned around like, who's this? Right? And it was Oscar.
Oh.
So Oscar comes and says, hey. I was like, in my head, I'm like, who are you again? Meanwhile, as African, hey, thank God you came home. I was looking for you.
In your head. Oh my God.
Well,
so you're already falling for him.
Already.
But you're pretending.
Yeah. He was giving him the chance, but pretending not to be too obvious.
Right.
You know how we. So. Sorry, yo.
You were not the only one trusting, just so you know.
I was. So I was at the bar and he was just like, hey, so when is your flight? I see you checked out yesterday. I was just like, well, it's tomorrow morning, whatever. He said, okay, what time do you get off? And I was just like, what time do you leave for your flight? I was like, 9 in the morning. He said, okay, well, I get up at 5. I'm like, all right, cool. So what are you going to do now? I was like, well, I'm going to go for a run from one end of the beach to another. Everybody knows Miami is pretty hot. Right. But then I was working out for my competition. Mm-hmm. So he was like, okay, I'll give you my number. This is one thing, if you ever interview my husband, mm-hmm. he's always going to bring up and swears that I said I gave him the wrong number. I write like an African. Because our 7 is like a 7.
You scribble scrabble.
I scribble scrabble. You understand? And so I can't put the whole number in.
Yeah,
so I put the number in, and he was just like, it's wrong. I'm like, no, it's not. And you made me write it again, a piece of paper. Till this day.
He knows what he wants. Very certain.
He still has that paper in his wallet mm-hmm. and tells everybody the story about how we met. So he was like, all right, I'll see you. I went for my little walk from one end to another. Meanwhile, it's almost 3:30 or 4:30 or something like that. I was sweating, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, he cannot see me like this, so I'm supposed to be this dark-skinned, upty looking kind of chick. Hey. The way he met me is how he's supposed to meet me. But in the real world, he saw me when I was not looking my pot with the makeup
and all
that. Exactly, yeah.
Like the everyday Emma.
Now what you mean now?
Okay, you're always up and running.
Oh, right, I know you say makeup intact. Yeah. I know who that is.
So that was what he saw and fell in love with.
My person, the natural beauty of me, right? So he called me around like maybe 4:30. Hey, I'm almost off. Are you almost ready? Meanwhile, I'm almost at the end of South Beach, and I'm like, oh my God. The sun took my makeup off, which you're not supposed to put on, because I want to look for Miami Beach, you know, black, glowy, and just like running the beach. And I was just like, oh my God, I need water, I need it. But meanwhile, you have people just staring. I'm like, okay, I'm the only black bald girl running into that.
Black
keep
bald
up,
girl.
Yes, keep up, girl. Just act like you're not dying. So I'm like running. Finally, I'm like, oh man, the beach chairs are taken away at a certain time. I can't find my spot, right? So finally, he was like, okay, I'm on my way. I'm like, where are you at? He was like, I'm on my way. And I'm like, okay, so where are you at? And he's like, okay, 2 minutes away. What do you want to drink? Meanwhile, I want to say, water. I said, Pinot Grigio wine, right?
You said what?
Pinot Grigio.
I can never pronounce that, guys.
Me neither.
You were being all bougie. Look at you, false life.
Bougie?
Carry on. This is getting interesting, right?
First he paused. He's like, oh, okay. So I finally I finally got to where I needed to be. I saw water, and I had like a little blush. I was like, he cannot see me like this, glowing, sweating, and looking like this, right? I didn't care. Right. So we finally met in South Beach, like some area in South Beach, whatever. And I see this guy with long hair, Rastafarian shorts, Rastafarian t-shirt, and a friend of his. I'm like, this is not the guy I met. Slick back, you know, tucked in, professional at the restaurant. I said, look what I don't meet. Hey, that's when I said to myself, Yema, think about it. He met you naturally. He's showing you who he was, who he is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So when we finally met, it was just like, I got your wine, where do you want to go? And I said to myself, let's just go to the beach. I don't need a chair or nothing, and the wall. And he had like a teenage friend, we were talking for like 4 or 6 hours, and he was like, yo, I gotta go in Spanish. You two are just too much. I got a date, so let me go ahead and do my date.
Right.
And that was it. Sorry it's too long, guys. It's just, I can feel it.
Of course, but that's what we want to hear. That's beautiful. That's
Thank
beautiful.
you.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And and that's how it was meant to be. A couple of years later, where you guys are. So I would also like to know what cultural differences have you experienced?
Well, being
As
a
an
Sierra
African,
Leonean and him being a Mexican, there's not much of a difference because the same foods that we eat are somewhat similar. For example, I could say the fufu, right? And
so it's called the fufu, not fufu. Now, so that's how he calls it, the fufu.
The fufu.
The
He calls
fufu.
it that.
Okay, I like
so
that.
I never knew we stole fufu from the Spaniards. From my husband's side because it's yuca.
Yuca, yeah.
Yuca.
Yeah.
So it's basically, if you explain it how it's made,
Cassava.
it's cassava, right? So there's not much difference in the culture. It's all about familia, as he says it, and as we say, it's all about family. There's not much. Everybody's close. Everybody's the same. So it's really no difference with our culture.
Right.
It's
So
just
they're
the
more
love.
they're more like African, very welcoming.
Exactly.
People all the time.
Family. Exactly.
So
it's natural.
surrounded by
There's no
family all the
pretension
time.
because everybody can read you. So it's just, I was just blessed to be in his family. The way my family treats him is the way his family treats me.
Right.
And I can't explain it, but you have to be there. And
Right.
there's no, I can leave him with my family and I say, hey, Oscar's, I just go. He handles himself, just like he leaves me, which I really hate.
Right.
And I handle it.
Right. And what about the language barrier? How do you cope with that?
Well, thank God for Google.com.
Thank you, Google.
That's my savior vessel. So I've always taken Google with me when we go to Mexico, which is San Luis Potosi. That's where his family's from. And when they come to me, they just embrace the language to me. But I'm like, my husband tries to make me think that I can kind of like relate to them and just say, but I can't. They're like, yo, Google. And then I translate to it. So they're working with me. They're calmly and patiently working with me.
Right, and you don't feel any type of way like when he's around his family and they speak Espanol.
Oh man, because somehow, some way, and this is everybody in any culture, or even in English,
right?
You can feel the energy when the family talks around you, the laughter,
the energy,
the energy.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh wow, I'm blessed. Like, nah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And vice versa, he kind of feels the same way.
Exactly.
Too.
Exactly.
Nah, that's great. Good to know. So, Nima, I know you would have faced some challenges, along the way, and everything hasn't been smooth sailing. So, could you please let us know, or let the viewers know, what challenges you encountered as a result of marrying someone out of your race?
Well, it's not so much married. It is out of my race, but my family knows this Yema. She's always been married out of her. I mean, not married. Oh my God, God forbid. I have only been married one time in my life. So they've known me for always being outspoken, outgoing, and I don't mind. I love interracial, any Spanish, Indian, Chinese. I love that. I never stay in just one culture.
Okay.
So if they meet Yema, oh yeah, she did it. Caucasian. And then 1, 2,
So for
1.
you, this is not something new. Like you knew that, you're very open and you're willing to try, whatever.
Yeah, because in Africa, it's just kind of like I've always been like interested in like, okay, I'm around my African American family, which I love. But I've always been curious, like the Lebanese man, the Caucasian. Like I know my grandma taught me to just love everybody.
Right.
I just didn't look at race and anything.
Right.
So I never had any challenges. There's really no challenges.
Race has never been an issue.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. So what challenges have you
faced? The language. Trying to make sure I learn something that when I go back to Mexico, which is probably next week, they talk to me a full language and I respond back in Spanish. But then I'm like, dang, Ema, you do it again. Google.com. Respond. That's my only challenge. I have nothing else. Everything is just the same as any human being. No other challenges.
So, and again, going back to, you said you dated Caucasians, of course, African in the ballpark.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
No, not a ballpark.
Oh,
Hey!
So, okay, so.
I had 5 fingers.
Okay.
Maybe around like 3.
So just 3. Okay. So you're pretty versatile in all race.
Yeah, I'm just that person. Like, if I meet somebody that's happened to be, before I was married, a guy, it's like I meet him as my brother, as my soulmate. Like, it's just like.
So when you go into any type of relationship, you always give it your all. Like, you go into it with.
Because I think, yeah, you're right. I really respect that question too. I just thought about it. So basically, when I do get in a relationship, I've grown to being so strict. My parents being so strict at me.
Right.
Where when you bring somebody home, that's the one. So I don't go like, okay, my mentality is when I date you, you're mine. I don't give second chances, third chances. I don't like go into the relationship. I don't have time to learn a relationship. Right. If I'm gonna get hurt later, I'm like, yo, you gotta meet my mom and my dad. So that mentality is so wrong for any future girls out there. Find out right, wrong, and bring them to your parents. But for me, I brought them home because of the respect of my parents, and they're very like strict about that. Right. So yeah, it's like, you're mine. I didn't have time to actually. I was very nurtured. I started dating late. I started in a relationship late.
So as most African girls, it's Katie, when it comes to dating, you know, you have to wait, you know, don't rush into it. And you had that control constantly. Your parent, you know, kept repeating it. Like,
my mom, my dad.
On school, do this, do that, and that will happen later.
Exactly.
So that was okay.
Yeah.
So, Emma, you say you're going back for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
When is it taking to? Sierra Leone and because you've gone now several times.
Yes.
Right?
So good and sad times.
Okay.
Fortunately, I lost my mother-in-law.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Last year. Thank you. So thank you, Haja. Thank you.
You lost your mother-in-law.
So we were hoping for something good come out of that, but I'm just blessed that he had an opportunity. He was supposed to go alone that month, because she was ill. So you know how somebody is ill, my mom and dad is ill, like it's a headache and But this was a phone call 2 months early. Yo, you need to come now. I wasn't planning on going, but I thought my uncle was ill, and I was like, wait, let me not be selfish.
Right.
Let me go ahead and just be like, wait, there's a chance for everybody. Let me go this time, and I'm so glad I went to go with my husband, and we saw the mother lived for like 5 days.
Oh my God.
So that was just like a blessing to me.
Yeah, it's a good thing that you went, because that's something you will never be able to do.
Oh, what? Every day I'm just like, thank God, because that will kill me, you know, to see that. But it was a blessing in disguise.
Your mother-in-law, because you were there a while. You know, she passed away. How did you feel?
I felt like, thank God she gave me 3 years of hers, and she gave me her son. She saw her son go far and beyond her expectations. So that was my dream. And whatever happens, I can always, till today, go to heaven and say, yes, I did something good,
you did your
you know, for somebody.
That's good. That's good. It pays to be kind, you know, and that's really good. Short time, you know, 3 years, it doesn't seem to be long. It's like, but it's just what you do, you
naturally.
And I know she passed away knowing that Oscar was in good hands, you know, and so
loved.
Very loved. And so that's really good. So she was, you know, impacted. You know, she felt that impact
and peace. And that was the best thing. She was at peace,
knowing that. And please express my sympathy to Oscar, because I'm sure that would have been hard. But then she gained another mom. And a wife.
Troublesome wife.
Yeah. So, so Yema, I'd like to ask you, what advice would you give to someone else that's having second thoughts about getting into an interracial marriage? I know now it's becoming more common. I've seen before, but I'm sure there are people that are still kind of skeptical of, you know, stepping out of their comfort zone. And so we think that, you know, we're from Africa, so we're into the specific, and that we want to stick with that race because that's what we know, and it's easy to work with because we already kind of come from the same culture. So what would you advise someone that's just having second thoughts about it?
So it's not so much, you're right, it's someone, because out of that pack, that one person's gonna find that one.
Yeah.
So I always go back to my grandmother, and my grandmother-in-law, my husband's grandmother in her deathbed, she never met an African American woman, nor a black woman like me with no hair. But when he was a little apprehensive, like my grandma's in the sick bed.
Right.
I don't know if she's ready, but let's make sure it took about 30 minutes for them to get her ready in the sick bed, because she was being hospiced in Mexico.
Oh
so Oscar was all nervous, like, okay, babe, come on, you can come see my grandmother. So I walked in there. I had no feelings because I was just being me. My spirit was good because I was in my prayers, whatever. I got there, and she looked at him. He got the long hair. He looked at me. She looked at me.
Who's the man here? I'm just gonna. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it out there.
That's a good thing about his uncle said that. And then he spoke something in Spanish. And then she looked at me, and he looked at her, because she's so special to her. Like, they're like this. Like, my grandma is like this to me. My mom is my grandma is my mom. So it's the same as.
Of course, similar.
Yeah, no taking credit from any mom or whatever. So she looked at me and she just smiled. She can't really say much. She just smiled.
A lot of things that was going through her head at that time.
Exactly. So I think she just saw the happiness. I don't know the status where she was at, because she was in and out. She saw the status of her grandson being happy. She embraced me, his arm and my arm. I have a picture of that. And they did the saying, the spirit was praying, and I think just one prayer, that's all it needed. It was just like, okay, she's at peace. And he's comfortable, and the mom is comfortable.
Oh my God.
So it was good.
That was good. Very touching.
Yeah. So the advice I can say for people that are into this interracial relationship is, let's put aside the word interracial relationship. Right. It's love. It's who you find at the end of the day. It's a definition of who cares about you and, number one, your family. So you don't have to act, because people can see right through acting. It's just being yourself. You don't have to accept them to everybody. Right. You're there for that one person, and that's all that matters.
That's
so love unconditionally, and of course, don't forget number one is God. So
like that, So how long have you been married to Oscar?
He's gonna kill me. April 20th. April 21st.
Oh my God, Emma, I tell you, I'm gonna want to. She's such a tomboy.
Oh yeah. Because my leg was cramping here.
So you see. That was for the show. That's the real Emma, you better know.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, the 20th, April 20th is our anniversary, 4-year anniversary.
4 years. Oh my God, it went by so fast.
It did go by fast.
And just 3 years of that, you were with your mother-in-law. You had the time. That's great, Emma.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming today.
Thank
We
you.
learned a lot. And guys, don't be afraid to love. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone in your race. It can be anyone. Yeah. The bottom line is someone that cares, that loves you and sees you for who you are. So we need to start changing the narratives of what people think and what people always think that it's the norm.
Enjoy the flaws.
It's not enough.
Your flaws could be the best part of that person that sees between that.
Exactly.
Enjoy the flaws.
Exactly. So Yema, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll get to bring Yema and Oscar on set someday. So guys, let me know if you do have any other topic you would like to explore, or if you would like us to bring Yema for another time. To talk about something. Yeah, Yema is very bubbly. Yema is one person that is always smiling, very selfless. So I'm not surprised that this happened to her, because she is a good person. And remember, good always attracts good.
Yeah. And you have to have attitude though. Some men like attitude, but you have to have a lot to enjoy and love. It's okay.
Every time you meet her, she will make your day. So thank you again.
Oh,
It's so great
thank
to
you,
have you.
Haja. Hey! Fufu, I accept fufu and plaza. Do you have fufu for real stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make you rest up on me. You know I got you.